talk about, like, as we go through this contest prep, and man, I'll just flat out say it, when I was going through it, I was getting ornery, angry. People didn't want to be around me. And to be quite frank, I didn't want to be around them. And, how do you help coach people with their relationships and that balance between, achieving that goal through bodybuilding, but also you have another life that's over here with friends and family and all that, and you got to maintain that balance. And what's your coaching advice on some of this? And
it's a crucial part to be a successful bodybuilder.
Right.
I find that sometimes bodybuilders with no one in their life, they struggle probably the most, because I find that when people are missing intimacy, whether it be friendships or relationship, romantic relationships, if they're missing those components, it's almost like they can't focus on their bodybuilding needs because there's like this something else is missing, right? So I find that that's not the way to go either. But then I find that sometimes when people have a household set up or a relationship set up or a friendship set up to where they are used to a lot of talking, engagement, great conversations or activities together, it can be difficult when those things start to erode a little bit, because everybody that's ever dieted for a bodybuilding show knows your energy to put towards those things becomes diminished over the course of time, because your energy to do everything becomes diminished. So I think that my advice usually is, at first you need to come to terms with the fact that your energy is going to be diminished, but it doesn't mean you need to accept that. One thing I've reminded myself in my previous preps, and I try to remind my clients, is that I tell them, you push yourself to lift hundreds of pounds in the gym, push yourself to crack a joke. You know what I mean? Like, push yourself to have positive interactions with the people in your life. It does require effort. It's not going, whereas it used to once come naturally when you're not, not 6% body fat. My jokes come naturally, my conversations come naturally, my positive facial expression and tone comes naturally. They're not going to come naturally anymore, but push yourself to do it. Because in my experience, both personal and with coaching, when you push yourself to do those things, and let's put it with something else too, is try to minimize the impact on your prep for those around you. My goal, I remember starting in 2016, as I said, my goal was to make it so that I could go all the way in the show day and my wife would hardly notice the difference. And so I think I almost got there. But the thing is, push myself to make jokes, push myself to engage in conversation, push myself to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to pick it up immediately. It's skill, another skill. But what you find that happens, first off, if you're pushing yourself to do these things, you burn more calories. If you're talking more, you're burning more calories. Right. I find that when people do that, they tend to lose weight more easily because they are burning more calories on a daily basis. They have to do less cardio because they're burning calories just talking. It does burn calories. This is part of something called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So you're going to have to do less cardio, which is the bonus right there. The other thing is that I find things tend to go easier because the easier you make things in the lives of the people around you, the lighter everything feels. The household is lighter, and I find that also people's spouses tend to help them out more when they see you putting in the effort to help them out as well. It becomes this reciprocal thing where everything just gets easier and easier. But once again, it doesn't come easily. It's like sometimes take a second to think about your response before you say it. Say it with a tone that you would normally say it. Find opportunities to make jokes throughout the day. Keep things light, and after a while, my own personal experience from this one, after a while of doing that, it doesn't become something that you need to push yourself to do anymore then. It almost, you learn to do it with fatigue. And kind of the same way, the first time you ever went in the gym, you remember your first contest prep, you remember the first time trying to prep with 6 or 7% body fat and trying to train, you were not as skilled at pushing yourself in the gym at low body fat levels as you are now. Now it's what you do, right?
Right.
And after multiple preps of pushing yourself to be agreeable and jovial and light during prep, then after a while, it's just what you do. And it's a skill that can be developed also at times. Bodybuilding in general is a host of skills that go way beyond just do this many reps and eat this food. And the people that are really good bodybuilders develop, not in 1 or 2 preps, but over a lifetime of their career, develop all of these great skills that eventually make them better and better on stage, and this is one of them.
Well, in some of it, I would even add to that, better at like business and life in general, because it teaches you how you have to have so much discipline.
Yes.
And you have to have planning and preparation, and all those things that you're learning just apply to help you in just the world, right? It's like, in business as well, because everything that we're doing is, very disciplined, and you say you're going to do it, you do it, right? And right.
It's skills that carry over to everything,
Right.
too. And
Yeah.
I often find too that there's a lot of these. I don't know if you remember. There's a lot of these bodybuilders that have this idea that they need to be like this lone wolf, and nothing from bodybuilding should, nothing but bodybuilding should be in their life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those old Universal Animal Pack magazine ads where it showed this guy in like a crummy apartment, and he's got his chicken and rice meal, and it's like black and white, and they're like, you don't need friends, you don't need family, you just need your bodybuilding and the weights and this and that. And in my experience, those people are usually the most horrible failures in bodybuilding.
Right.
Because and not to go too deep down the psychological rabbit hole, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that there are multiple things that human beings need in terms of, just their natural needs, and we need them in a natural progression. You're not going to be super concerned about, I have no friends, when you have no food, right? You're not going to be like, I want to be,
If I don't have any air, I can't do anything else.
Yeah,
right?
you don't care about food if you don't have air, right? So once you meet a need, your motivation to pursue the next need will increase, right? Naturally, right? And so I always think that people that a lot of times they're like, well, I'm just not motivated to do this or do that. One, they maybe don't value what it is enough, or they have unmet needs in other arenas. And so it's like, because once you meet your individual needs, whatever those may be, the next need, to be motivated for the next need, it flows like water. I mean, you don't need to push yourself. It just comes. You can't stop yourself from going after it. And so sometimes I'll have people, and bodybuilding is a tricky one because we do remove an essential need. We're removing food, right? So we're already getting one of the basic, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we're getting rid of a basic human need, which is food. So then a lot of these other bodybuilders, what do? Prep starts and they cut out other basic human needs. Sorry, friends, I can't go do anything with you right now because I'm in bodybuilding prep. Sorry, Mom, I'll talk to you in 5 months when I'm done with my show. And it's like you're just removing other needs and making it harder on yourself. I think, now this doesn't mean you have time for like 20 friends during prep, but I think it's sound advice to actually pull your other needs more closer to you during times of deprivation. I tell people, get more into your hobbies. Talk to your good friends more. Have meaningful conversations, not hi, how you doing, talk to you next week. Have meaningful conversations, and you find that when you strengthen those other needs, you're able to overcome the lack of food more easily. And so, it should be a process of putting all these things in your life together and having solid foundation of, some people when they're younger, a family is, 22-year-old, you're not going to have like wife and kids and stuff like that, but have friends, have something you're passionate about outside of the sport too, like your job or a hobby or something like that, or school or whatever. You got to have things in place.
Yeah, I also notice like just stay busy, because like I used to notice sometimes at my job, like when you are so busy, a lot of times you'll look up and next thing you know, wait, I'm an hour behind a meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just mentally you've just gone so fast. And so that was another thing I always say, to try to stay really, really busy during that time.
Yeah, you're just sitting around. You're just going to be thinking about, I'm hungry. And,
you're looking at the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, one more hour.
And once again, staying busy, having hobbies, having friends, having relationships, having a job that you're into. Yeah. Valuable tools, and such underrated tools in the bodybuilding world, because the bodybuilding world, once again, everybody's like, I train and I think about bodybuilding. And one of the things that's so funny is that bodybuilding has a set of prerequisites to be good at it, right? Things you must do in order to be good. You have to be able to train hard. And in the gym, we said, work that nuance of those skills. You eat your meals.
Right.
And you train hard, you eat your meals, you get your sleep. You have like this next thing. But in between those areas, there's no reason for you to be like consumed with bodybuilding. Your next meal isn't coming for 3 hours. You live life in that period. You know what I mean? Like, eat your meal, live your life, and then 3 hours from now you do your bodybuilding thing again, and then you live your life in between that period. Right. And so I think that having something to fill that space with is just so crucial.